Hi, I'm Karen from the Knitting Doodle. Today I'd like to demonstrate 5 different kinds of increases. Some knitting patterns, especially older ones, may call for you to increase in the next stitch without actually specifying which increase stitch you should use. Increases are almost always done on the right side of the fabric, so knowing what each type of increase looks like can help you determine which one would be best for your finished project. So let's look at and learn 5 different kinds of increases. Today I'd like to demonstrate knit in front and back, yarn over or yarn forward, backwards yarn over, make one, and lastly half hitch. Let's begin with knit in front and back or KFB. When a pattern cites KFB, it's asking you to knit into the front and then the back loop of the next stitch on your left needle before sliding it off. When you do this, you create a small horizontal bar every place an increase occurs. It's subtle yet detectable. Another common type of increase is the yarn over or yarn forward, designated as YO or YF in a pattern. With the yarn over, you are not working into any of the knitted fabric. Instead, you simply loop yarn around the right hand needle to create an extra stitch. This type of increase creates a lacy hole wherever an increase occurs, and it can be a very pretty increase line on a raglan sleeve. Like the regular yarn over stitch, backwards yarn over, or BYO, also has you looping yarn over the right hand needle. However, instead of looping from under the bottom and then over the top, you do the opposite and simply loop over the top. Unlike regular yarn over stitch, also, the backwards yarn over leaves a very small hole that is almost undetectable as compared to the large hole of the yarn over. Make one, or M1, is another type of increase that creates a hole. However, it's a medium-sized hole, smaller than the yarn over, yet larger than the backwards yarn over. M1 requires you to knit into the bar between 2 stitches. Half hitch is another type of M1 increase. It is virtually undetectable in the knitted fabric. It is a bit tricky to get right at first, but once you have it mastered, it can be a very useful method of increasing. It's also a bit tricky to knit into the half hitch on the back side of your knitting, so you need to pay close attention when you get to that stitch. There is no abbreviation for half hitch. When a pattern calls for it, it usually says increase in the next stitch using the half hitch. So let's learn how to do the knit in front and back, or KFB. In order to do that, we're going to be knitting into the front and then back loop of the next stitch on your left hand needle. I'll demonstrate that. So to do a knit in front and back, or KFB increase, you begin by catching the front of the loop and taking a stitch, but don't slide it off of your needle. Instead, you're going to twist around, catch the back of the loop, take another stitch, and then slide both of them off. So again, that's in through the front loop, turn and catch the back loop, and then slide them off. For our yarn over or yarn forward, we're not going to be creating on the left hand needle. Instead, we're going to be creating a stitch on the right hand needle. Let me demonstrate. For our yarn over or yarn forward, we're going to create a stitch on our right hand needle. We're going to do that by simply going under and over, looping around, and then continuing on with our knitting. Again, that's under, over, continue on with the knitting. What happens then is that you've created an extra stitch in between the ones you already had there. So it's under, over, knit. For the backwards yarn over, we're going to be creating a stitch on the right hand needle again. But instead of looping under and then over, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to loop over before taking another stitch. For the backwards yarn over, we're going to do the same thing by creating a stitch on our right hand needle. But this time, instead of going under and over, we're just going to simply loop it over the top and then take a stitch. Over the top and take a stitch. Now this creates a smaller hole because you actually use less yarn than around like that. This takes much less yarn going over the top. Make one, we're not going to be creating a stitch on either the right or the left hand needle. Instead, we're going to be working on a small bar that's in between the two stitches on each needle. To make one, or M1, an increased stitch, we're not going to work on the right or the left hand needle. Instead, we're going to work on this little bar that is created between the two. We're just going to catch under there and take a stitch, and then move on and take a regular stitch. Again, if you pull apart, you can see there's a little bar in there. You just catch that bar, take a stitch on it, and then go on. Sometimes you have to kind of pull it a little more to see that stitch. Go ahead, you won't hurt your fabric. Hitch, we're going to again be creating a stitch on the right hand needle. It's a little difficult to learn this one, but it's well worth it if you can master it. The key is how you put the yarn onto the needle. To make a half hitch increase, the key is in how you loop the yarn around your right hand needle. I find it easiest to come from the front, loop it around my thumb, and then just catch it. Pull it tight, and there's your half hitch. Take a stitch, let's do that again. From the front, catch it, pull it tight. So when you're working on the back side of your fabric, catching the half hitch is kind of tricky sometimes. It can become really tight on your needle, and you need to just ease your right hand needle into that to catch it without stretching it, because it can also stretch very easily. So ease it in there, take the stitch and ease it off. Another stitch. Ease it in. So there you have it, 5 different kinds of increases, how to do them, and what they look like. Look for more from the Knitting Doodle on our website, Facebook page, and our Pinterest page. Thanks for watching.